Following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention.
What happened? Where'd we go?
Yeah,
End
this
of
is
the
what I asked
world.
them to check, and they still did it.
All right, we're here. Hey, how you guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan here with the Paying Attention Podcast. Hi, atop Golden Seal Apothecary on Main Street, North Andover, here at NCAM. And I want to apologize to NCAM because I have not been promoting them at the beginning of the show, only because half the time I'm still saying hi atop Two Guys Smoke Shop at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, because that's where we were for 7 years, so it's embedded in my brain. And in full disclosure, I do get a lot of emails from people asking me, why do you say podcast that way? It's because for the first year I did my podcast, I would start the show saying, welcome to the Paying Attention radio show, because I did a radio show for 35 years, and it was just ingrained in my head to say, no matter how much I tried to say podcast, it just wouldn't come out. So I figured if I drag it out that way, then it'll remind me not to say radio show. So welcome to the podcast here at the Paying Attention. So we got a couple.
I'm a little nervous.
So
today.
here's the thing today. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. So I do have a guest coming in. She's actually here, but she's going to come on in a few minutes, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes. We got some stuff we got to talk about first. Intern girl, before we start, we didn't get a chance. Usually during the song, we get to be like, hey, how was your week? What was going on? And
we actually tested. I don't know what happened. I asked them to do that. But
I wish we could get a camera to zoom in on you on how cute you look today, because it really is kind of adorable.
Oh, thank you, Tom. I'll post a selfie later for everyone to see.
I should be careful because Debo will be like posting things. It's his secret girlfriend. It's his secret wife. They were married.
Let him say what he wants. I don't care.
And he's a transgendered female who transitioned and... God, those guys just will make something. Every day they make something else up because they're both unemployed now. They have nothing else to do. Yeah. So every day they're making something up. But we're going to get to that in a second. Okay. So everything's okay? We haven't had a chance to kind of chat.
Everything's good. I've been feeling a little sick, but, I think it's just the allergies.
So I thought you were going to do another podcast. Did you do another podcast?
I did another podcast, but I'm still working some stuff out with that.
Oh, okay. So you recorded it, but you haven't.
Yeah, I haven't posted.
So you don't go live when you do your podcast?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I record and then I upload.
Honestly,
I like to edit.
Honestly, we should be doing that too. All the things that I say.
Yeah.
Because I watch it afterwards and go, oh, I wish I could cut that out.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe I said that about that guy. He's going to be mad.
Yeah. It's already ready to go. I'm waiting for something.
Right. Okay. And did you have a guest?
I did have a guest.
So preview it. We want people to be waiting for it.
Okay. So the guest is John Regal, who's running for...
Regal?
Regal.
Right.
John... Oh, Regal.
Okay.
Regal,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
Can you say it like that?
Okay.
Can you say it? I want to hear it.
Whatever you want me to do.
Say it.
You're the boss.
John Regal.
John Regal.
Ah, there you go. He's running. He's a candidate. He's running for council at large for the city of Lawrence.
That's your friend that you were telling me to help. Okay.
Yes, that's my friend. Right. And, I'm really supporting him to, go for it this time. So, yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Okay. Very good. Very good.
So he's going to be my first episode. And, we'll go from there.
All right. Fantastic. So we had, believe it or not, since our last show, which was only a week ago, we had another donation for the scholarships. Now, the bash was literally a month and 5 weeks ago. It was a month and 1 week ago. Can't believe it's been that long, right? And so we have a new tote board. What? This is our new tote board for our scholarships this year.
Unbelievable.
A month and 1 week after it's over. $68,075 is our final. We really mean it this time. Final tote board.
For May 1st.
Now, here's the thing. I hesitate to say this because somebody will do it. But if you add $25 to that amount, we will be exactly $10,000 more than last year. Last year's total was $58,100.
Okay.
And so if you added $25 to that amount, it would be exactly $10,000 more than last year, which is really surprising because I thought nobody was going to contribute this year because Debo Brown hated me so much.
No, I remember he posted that you were not getting any donations.
Our donations were suffering because of all the mean things that he said about me on Facebook. It was this time we've really got him. This time we've really got him.
He doesn't influence the people that actually donate. Though,
half the people that follow him are actually friends of mine, who then feed me screenshots of everything that he's saying.
Yeah.
they've even got a couple people working for their fake little nonprofit that they have that are really only there to like just get information. Like, so I didn't ask them to do it; they just do it on their own because friends are friends. So like whatever. Like none of my friends are doing that to me because I have real friends.
Has anyone told you anything about like when are you gonna stop like? The whole Debo.
Yeah.
Thing?
You get those, the appeasers. Those are the appeasers. Those are the people that are like, if we're only nicer to China, maybe they'll be nicer to us. Like, those are the same. It's the same dynamic.
Okay.
So I do get people that are like, people are sick of it. When are you going to stop? Never. I'm never going to stop.
You have 3 years to go with it. Why not?
Right.
Like, run with it. Everything they put you through, you have every right to
We've
run
got a
with
civil
it.
suit coming, and you can pull that down. We've got a civil suit coming, and it's going to be at a time and place of my choosing when we file the suit. It's going to be strategically timed. We've got a couple of things that were in the works.
Are you thinking Christmas morning?
Oh no,
or
I'm not.
Christmas Eve?
I'm not even going to give them a time frame because then they're going to plan their hood.
No, but I'm
boogery.
giving you like an example of like a really awful time to get like a lawsuit would be like, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, no, it's going to be way more strategic than that. So we've got a bunch of things that I really want to get to. The mayor's race in Lawrence is heating up. We're going to talk about that next week. I'm going to try and get Brian DePina in here. I don't know if he's going to come. We're kind of a little mad at him right now. But he has a fundraiser tonight today. I'm going to go. And then we're going to try and start getting candidates on the show.
Yes.
So I'm going to try and get your friend
John Regal.
Okay, that guy.
He has a nice politician name already.
It does.
Yeah, that's very like
All right.
very
Okay.
plain.
Fair enough.
He's going to win.
So remember last week when we were here? Well, I don't live in Lawrence. I have no skin in the game. People think that like I really care one way or the other, and I really kind of don't. Last week we were here, and we talked about what Debo Brown, a.k.a. Donald Frazier, the convicted felon, posted on Facebook attacking the mother of the missing child, the child that fell into the river. And I kept saying to you, because I couldn't remember exactly, like I'd seen the screenshot, but it was like 3 a.m. and I was half asleep. And I couldn't remember exactly what he said, and I told you I was going to bring in the actual screenshot. And I kept saying, listen, it's way worse than what I'm making it out to be, but this is basically kind of what he said. And then I went home and I looked at it, because I didn't have it on this phone. I have it on my burner phone. And then I went back and I looked at it and I went, holy crap. We got to bring that in next week. Can you pull that up? Because we have that. So while this poor mother is anguishing, like really anguishing over her son falling in the river and praying that they're going to find his body so that the family can have closure. This dirtbag, Debo Brown, his real name is Donald Frazier. He doesn't want you to know that because he was arrested and did time for insurance fraud where he was staging accidents with his wife. Back then was his girlfriend, Kelly Birchall. They were staging accidents and stealing insurance money. And so he changed his name to Debo Brown. That's why he goes by that. So when you Google him, his felony won't come up. And this is a guy that runs around the community inserting himself into every tragedy that happens and tries to like play the hero. Except on this one, I think he thought he would get some more clout on Facebook by attacking the grieving mother of a missing child. Like, are you kidding me? Since nobody BM wanna say like he's gotta be the homie, even though he lives in an all-white neighborhood in Salem, New Hampshire, on General Pulaski Drive, right? But he's gotta pretend he's a hood guy. Like he's from the hood. He MB'd the hood. Him and his white wife in their white neighborhood in white Salem, New Hampshire. The whitest state in the country. New Hampshire's the whitest. It's the whitest. North Dakota's close, but New Hampshire's got them beat. Since nobody wanna WANNA, I guess he dropped out of 5th grade. People keep telling me that, now I believe it. Say it, I will. How do you as a parent see ya kid fall into the river and not jump in to save him? Are you kidding me? You can pull that down. It's just so disgraceful. So disgraceful. So
your reading is like right on point.
Right? Like, are you kidding me? So Just like they did with the video that I published of Kelly losing her shit and threatening somebody one night. And then they posted a picture of me like telling a guy he had to leave and trying to make it sound like it was the same thing. He then did a screen capture of something that I posted saying that this has been kind of suspicious from the beginning, but all my cop friends say that this is real and that they believe the parents and they're still out looking for the kid. So he posted what I did and said, see, he did the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. No. You attacked a grieving mother for not jumping in the river. And by the way, I've talked to some people that know the family. She doesn't know how to swim. She can't swim. And she had 2 underage kids with her at the time that would have been by themselves on the banks of the river if she had jumped in. And then what if she jumped in and she died? Now they've got nobody, right? Yeah. But Debo Brown and Kells Birchall.
Kells with the Z.
Kells with Z's at the end because people fall asleep when she talks. They have to insert themselves into everything that's going on in the community, and it's usually really, really disgusting. And then when people call them out on it, they take it down. But they forget the internet's forever. Like, you can take it down. There are automatic screen capture programs that will take everything that you have, even if you take it down, it still have it.
It's just like what happened with Rita Christine.
Right, with Rita Christine. We took care of her too, right? So, as horrible as that is, now they're trying to distract because they tried to put the shade on me for saying that at the beginning it was suspicious, but now all my cop friends say that they believe the parents, and that didn't work. And people are still attacking them on Facebook, calling them disgusting because let's face it, they are. So yesterday, I got a screen capture that Debo posted. By the way, these people have 19 different fake accounts. Right, so they've got Kel's Debo, and then Kel Z Frazier, and Kelly Birchall, and Kelly Birchall Frazier, and Debo Brown. And, they've got a fan page, uncensored Merrimack stuff, and all these. I counted. My last count was 13 different fake pages that they have. So when they apply for jobs, their prospective employer can't go online and find all their hood boogery. So I got a screen capture yesterday. Pull up the one of me with the. This is hilarious.
All right.
And for those of you who keep saying, why don't you let it go? This is why we don't let it go. So this is Debo Brown, a.k.a. Donald Frazier. I just left the state I can't read that. For any community questions, please reach out to DFD. We're still trying to figure out what that means. He's at home like this. By the way, that's a picture of me when I got out of the hospital in 2023. Yeah. Hiding behind his computer screen as usual as we speak. And yes, that's the house. By the way, that's my office. Yeah. They can't even get the little things right, the easy things. He's just scared to park on the street for some reason. By the way, when you pulled in, where was my car?
Your car has been outside on the street.
My car is on the street every single day.
You do on-street parking.
The only time my car is not on the street is if I pull up and there were no spots. And then I park across the street at the service station. Cody lets me park my car there. Okay. All right. For some reason, if you look through the archway, the Jeep's parked in the back. By the way, don't tell him. Yeah. But my neighbor, the Jeep in the back that he's talking about is actually my neighbor's Jeep.
Oh,
but don't tell him that.
It's the same color?
Yeah, and it's the same model.
Oh,
They bought a Jeep Patriot the same color as mine, although theirs is, I think, a 2017.
Okay.
And mine's a 2019. So then there's another quote if you want to pull the next one up, which is absolutely freaking hilarious. This is awesome.
This one.
Let's see.
He talks about.
Yeah, I got time and a solid alibi. Okay.
Today.
So this is what I saw yesterday. So we knew they were going to try and pull something. You can pull that down.
Okay.
So we knew they were going to pull something. So last night, as they really think everyone else is as dumb as they are. So last night, he had a guy who looks like him, not quite as ugly, but almost, on a motorcycle. Wearing it wasn't a Hell's Angels patch, but it was some kind of a motorcycle club patch, wearing a mask. But the guy's shorter than him and not quite as ugly.
Okay.
And he pulls into this bus station at TMF and shines on his motorcycle, and he shines his light in my car to kind of blind me so I can't really see if it's him or not. But I knew it wasn't him. I saw his post yesterday that he was out of state and that he has an alibi. So we knew that they were trying to set me up for something.
Oh, okay.
So we do TMF, we feed the homeless. Kelly circled the block, but she knows she's not welcome because they attacked Mike Gorman of all people. They attacked Mike Gorman and his mom, of all people. So they parked across the street, and now they're like stalking, and they're like videotaping on their phone.
So wait, they're trying to intimidate you? Is
Yeah,
that what
they're trying, but it doesn't work because they're hoodwinkers.
Don't they understand that they're already in so much deep trouble with you? Wouldn't it be better just to let you be and like just to like let it go?
If they were smart enough to be on their own side, they wouldn't be about to lose their house. Like if they were smart enough to be on their own side, they wouldn't have the legal problems that they're about to have. But they're not. So she's out there with Lee Fickenworth and John Greenlaw, like the Hood Booger crew, right? And they're across the street, and when TMF's over, I pull out. Nancy leaves. I made sure that she left on her own because I didn't want them following her. They didn't follow her. So I leave, and as I drive by, the guy pretending to be Debo, who's like, I think, a foot shorter than him, and again, not quite as ugly, they're all standing there with their phones as I'm pulling out of the bus station, and they're yelling, F you effing bleed, like all their, yeah. So, by the way, I have a dash cam. I got it all on video.
Mm-hmm.
I got it all on video.
Everywhere you go, you always have a camera, too, on your chest.
Always.
Yeah.
Just for things like this. By the way, we will get to the real show shortly. Long story short, I pull out. They're doing their threats and their homie stuff. And as I got to the next corner, I thought, oh, my God, Mike Gorman's there by himself.
Okay.
And they've already attacked Mike Gorman, of all people. Like literally the nicest guy on the face of the earth. This guy lives, breathes, and sleeps helping homeless people and dedicating his life for no money to help homeless people. And I thought, you know what? Just to get me, they might attack Michael. Because they can't get me now, right? They've sued me. They've tried everything. They've lost everything. So I went around the block, and I snuck back into the station to make sure Mike finished loading up the truck, and he left. So when he left, I left. And they followed me. And they followed me all the way into North Andover. So when I got to Main and Salem Street, Main and Sutton Street, I kept going because I'm thinking, you know what? They want me to go to the police station because they're trying to set me up with this guy that looks like Debo, but I know it's not him because I saw the Facebook post that he was not even in the state tonight. So I went all the way up Sutton Street. When I got to China Blossom, I turned around and I went home. Today, pull up the next screen. This is hilarious. I'd like to report a crime. Donald Frazier just threatened me and followed me home.
You're lying.
This is him. This is what he posted today. NAPD. He at the Iredell County Sheriff's Department in North Carolina. He's probably checking in for bail, right? So how did he just follow you home? So he's laughing that yesterday he announced that he was out of state, and then had somebody pretend to be him. That apparently at the bottom is the guy that was pretending to be Debo, right? As if it looks anything like Debo, right?
Are you going to finish reading the rest of that?
Oh, I'm sorry, because I'm having a problem with my eyes. North Carolina, so he did just follow you home. How did he follow you home if he's 900 miles away from here? Go home, Tom, before we arrest you for filing a false police report. Newsflash, I didn't file a police report. I'm not as dumb as Debo and Kelly. But the harassment that they're engaging in, my lawyers are loving it. They're like, Tom. So I talked to my lawyer this morning. He goes, Tom, you keep harassing us, saying, when are you going to file against Debo? This is why we're not filing against Debo and Kelly. Because if every day that you wait, they give us more material. Every day that you wait, everything that they do makes another charge, makes more money for damages for what they've done, especially since you have a Supreme Court ruling on your side against them. So, to be honest with you, I would have liked to have filed this civil suit the day we won our Supreme Court win. The day we had the Supreme Court win was the day that I wanted to file against them.
But you were busy with the bash.
Well, but my lawyers kept saying, listen, we know these kinds of people. We deal with these kinds of – they're lawyers. They deal with people like this all the time. They're like, if you give these guys enough rope, they're going to keep trying to set you up. They're going to keep harassing you and doing – and as you ignore them, as you just kind of laugh at them on Facebook, they're going to escalate. And the more they escalate, the more damage there's going to be at the end of the civil suit. So let them go. Let them go. So we're letting them go. And they can follow me. They were in the car last night. They're doing this with their fingers like, we're going to shoot you, hoping that I would run to the – but I'm halfway to the station, and I went, wait a minute. They're just setting me up. Why am I going to go to the police station and give them more fodder? So I just went home. And I pulled up, half expected them to be in front of my office, but they weren't because they're hood boogers and they're cowards. And they do everything from like across the street and in their car and in traffic, but never one-on-one. Like they'll never come over to me because they're cowards. So anyways, I just wanted to, for those of you who follow me and follow Dimebag Debo Brown, a.k.a. Donald Frazier, the insurance fraudster, who, by the way, I think if he gets arrested one more time, I think he does mandatory time now. So we're hoping that happens, but I'm not going to use the criminal justice system to go after a guy. What's going on?
So I just want to say, welcome in for everyone on Facebook watching live. We have Heather Donahue. She said, "I know what the FD means. I'll PM you, Tommy."
Oh, okay, all right.
So.
That's fine. So I'm sure it's some made-up hood booger name because they're not very.
Oh, and Loveridge John wrote hood boogery and laughing. Likes that name.
That's what I made up for them. All right, so we got a couple of other things real quick that we want to get to. I really need a new laptop. This is driving me crazy. We want to thank our sponsors that we didn't do at the beginning of the show that we're going to call in our guest. Century 21 McLennan Real Estate, the Zanny Pesci Law Office, Jana Zanny Pesci, who's a Methuen City Council, the sexiest woman alive.
She is. She's very good looking.
By far, before I met her, I thought Anna Nicole Smith was the sexiest woman alive, and then she died. Yeah. And then I kind of thought it was Shakira until I met Jana Zanny Pesci. Oh, yeah. And I was like,
she's in great shape. She's tall. And she's
lost a little weight. She's lost a little weight. I don't like that. But she, when I first met her, I was like, oh my God, all the people on the planet, and I get to meet like the sexiest woman alive. This is crazy.
Lucky.
So they just renewed their advertising for another year. So Vinny called me yesterday and he goes, listen, I'm following all this Debo stuff. I don't even know who these people are, but I love the way you deal with these people. We want in for another year, which is funny because he told me last year that was going to be his last year because they're going to be going in a different direction. The Zanny Pesci Law Office is doing they're doing bankruptcies and they're doing real estate stuff, but I think they're transitioning to do some other stuff.
All right.
But then he called me and he was like, you know what? I love it so much. Like I have to be in. He goes, the number of people that come over to me and tell me that they see the ad in the paper is just worth it alone. Zanny Pesci Law Office, Marsan and Son Construction, EIS. Investigation and gun trading for Jalissa Nunez. Just a little FYI on this one. They are not the investigative company that investigated William Castro, the police chief in Lawrence. I know she had that on Facebook a couple of times. So 90% of what she posts is usually not true. Every once in a while she gets something true, so people keep following her just in case. What else do we have? Tomo and Shaken Seafood. Are we ready to go to Tomo?
Yes, I'm ready.
Tell me when.
Today.
Can't be today. I'm on deadline, but you tell me any other time.
After deadline.
Okay,
when the paper goes out Tuesday, let's go out.
All right, like Wednesday or Thursday next week.
Okay.
All right.
Yay.
JG's Ice Cream, Clear Path for Veterans New England, AFC Urgent Care, Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors, and we got to get Dave Consoli to come on. We got to get Dave Abdu to come in with him someday too.
Yeah.
I know Dave loves me. I know he loves me. Prime Insurance at Doug Mercurio Law Office. I bet he'd be another good guest too.
Yeah.
Let's get Doug to come in.
I would
here
love
and talk
for Rita Christine to come in one day.
Sure, you'll never see
She
that.
will never see that.
No, you'll never see that. The level of hatred with her is just crazy.
By the way, who's Rita Christine? Because I'm sure there's people here listening and watching.
Oh, it's Tina Conway. She is the now retired chief of staff for DJ Beauregard.
All right, and she changed her name on Facebook to Rita Christine.
Right, yeah, because she didn't like the fact that I was screen capturing what she was posting, and then I was posting it because she has like 5 people who follow her. So she posts things online that are really like crazy, and then I screen captured and posted on my page, and I have like 15,000 people that follow me, 17,000 people who follow me on Facebook, and then she gets all the backlash because everybody's following me, and they see what she posted it for like the 5 people that follow her. I didn't realize that the whole world would see it.
Shout out to Rita Christine.
Yeah, Rita Christine. Oh, and this would be a good time to make an announcement. I don't know if I said this last week, but I am going to announce it again today. Starting Tuesday, thanks to my friend Lenita Dykes, who is probably the best political consultant I've ever met, DJ Beauregard, Mayor of Methuen, is going to be starting a column, a monthly column in the Valley Patriot with us, just like Neil Perry used to be. And we had to negotiate a little bit to make this happen because he needed to understand that I'm going to let him do this, but it's not like you're going to do a column every month until I write a story that makes you look bad. Like, you're going to do this every month no matter what. And if I write a story that you don't like, address it in your column. Like, write a column about how Tom Duggan got it wrong. I'm okay with that. You can write a column that Tom Duggan's a piece of crap, and here's why. I'll publish every word of it because I'm a free speech guy, so I don't care. So DJ sent me in his column last night for Tuesday's paper. I was really impressed. I was very impressed. Like, I expected what I call an Estella Reyes column. Like, oh, yeah, we had a ribbon cutting on Thursday, and I saw my friend Bippy on Friday.
Very campaignish.
Yeah, like Estella sends things about ribbon cuttings and stuff.
That's
and
campaigning.
Yeah, what DJ said was really substantive. It's like breaking news kind of stuff.
Ooh, I can't wait for Tuesday.
So when I read it, I called him and said, I just want to make sure, like, you're not sending this out as a press release. Like, after, because we're a monthly, right? So if someone sends me a column and we publish it, and then they send it out as a press release, and the daily paper covers it the next day, I'm on the shelf all month. So people will pick my paper up 3 weeks from now.
Okay.
They've already read the Tribune. They open it randomly, see his column, and they'll go, "Oh, I already read this paper," and they'll put it down, thinking they read the Valley Patriot.
It has to be exclusive.
So the key to being a monthly paper is everything has to be exclusive. You can't give us something that you're going to give to another member of the press, and he has agreed to all of that. So very happy. Welcome to DJ Beauregard. We've had a very rocky relationship over the last 4 or 5 years. So much so that we were at war for a good month and a half. Like, kind of like me and Debo are at war right now. Like, I was at war with DJ. And it's nice to see that someone like Lenita could come in and negotiate that. She's kind of like Switzerland. Like, she came in and said, he's my friend, you're my friend. I want to smooth this over for you guys, so I appreciate that. Clear Path, who else? AFC Urgent Care, who did I leave out? Chris's Barbershop on Main Street in Salem, New Hampshire, right above Sevmar. And a shout out to Sevmar and Jocelyn's at Sevmar in Methuen. The best Lebanese food you're going to get anywhere. Anywhere. Enterprise Bank, W3O, and you can come on up while I'm doing the oh boy. Don't get old.
Coffee.
I know, I'm out of coffee, though. Oh. Usually you bring in some water, but...
well, I saw you with that. So
it's all good. It's all good.
Once you start talking with her, I'll go get you some.
All right. 4-star lighting, stadium chiropractic. Free shout out to Dr. Armano, who has been with us since he was Armano Chiropractic when he was on Sutton Street back in 2004. So Dr. Armano and J&W Shoes in North Andover are the two, and the Pentucket Cafe. What's the name of it? It's the Pentucket Cafe. Isn't that awful? So I have 3 advertisers that have been with us since the very first edition of the Valley Patriot.
Wow.
And he's one of them. So Stadium Chiropractic. He was a mono chiropractic, then he moved to Lawrence, and he's in the perfect spot, by the way, right behind Taco Bell. So if you're going to go get your chiropractic stuff done, you stop at Taco Bell.
Of course.
You go manipulate your back and your neck, and then you go back to Taco Bell. That's what I always do.
I will go to Taco Bell afterwards because you could have an accident.
That's true. That's very, very true.
All right. You want to introduce our new guest?
All right. I guess I will. In the studio here with me today, I'm really happy to have this because, being a news guy, I have a lot of people that reach out to me to tell me their story. And because I'm only one guy, I don't have a staff of like 50 people to do these stories. I always kind of like go through them and then have to decide, do I have time for this or don't I? But with the podcast, it's given me an opportunity to get people onto the show so I can interview them and then I can transcribe your answers. Here, you just got to pull this over like that. There you go.
You want to talk really quick so we can hear you?
Testing.
All right. So
How's the sound in your ears? That good?
Yeah, I hear it great.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I get a lot of people call me. I got a couple calls this morning from Salisbury about some of the shenanigans going up there with Big Block, and I got a couple of other things going on. And again, I'm only one guy, so it's hard for me to do all of these stories. I reject 19 of 20 stories that come across my desk a week because, again, I'm only one guy. And I do have like Intern Girl and other people, but they do other stuff. So when Andrea reached out to me to tell me her story, you sent me this story that was in the New Hampshire Business Journal, and I scanned through it. I'm going to be honest, I didn't read it really thoroughly, but I scanned through it, and I was very intrigued. And I thought, you know what, let's get her on the show. Let's have her tell her story, and then I can transcribe what you said, and we can put it in the paper if that's something that you're okay with, because this is... Not only is this a really explosive story, but this is a story that I hear a lot. Mm-hmm. I hear your story. Other people have called me and told me a similar story to what you've been through with the real estate brokerage that they're dealing with.
Right.
And because it's real estate and it's law and it's the criminal justice system and there's civil suits, it gets very detailed, it gets very murky. And as a reporter, you want to try to dumb it down and make it as simple as possible so that the people consuming the story, their eyes don't glaze over because it's too complicated.
Right.
So as I'm going through this, I thought, you know what? She's got a much simpler story to tell than most of the people in your position. Maybe we'll get her on. And then you told me who your brother was, Steve Bucco, who every year gives money for the Bash, every year gives money for our scholarships. They own Macaloon's, free shout out to Macaloon's Liquor Store, Bucco. And what's the one over at in the Market Basket Plaza?
That's Wine and Beer, but that's not owned by us any longer.
Oh, you guys sold that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Okay, no free shout out for them. Nothing for you. No soup for you.
No.
So as I'm reading this story, I thought, one of the worst things about the media industry today is that we don't have any real reporters left.
Right.
20 years ago, the Eagle Tribune would have been climbing over me to get to your story. 20 years ago, the Lowell Sun, the Boston Herald would be climbing over me to get your story because they had real reporters. And today we don't have any real reporters left. Like, there's none of them left. Like, I'm like the last guy to put the lights out. And so I'm reading this thinking, wow, like 10 years ago, this is a Pulitzer Prize for like the Eagle Tribune. And now I'm lucky enough that it's just falling in my lap. So let's start real quick. Tell people who you are, what you do for work, and then tell us, walk us through what happened.
My name is Andrea Delehunty. I have been a realtor for 20 years, and I worked for RE/MAX for 16 years until this all went down.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you're not a real estate person anymore?
Oh, I still am.
But
now,
just not for RE/MAX.
No. Now I
Okay,
work for
all right.
Anthony Lamacchia at Lamacchia Realty.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully they'll be advertising soon.
Well, Anthony's
We'd love to
awesome.
have that.
And so I worked for RE/MAX, loved RE/MAX, loved the brand, would have been a lifer with RE/MAX. Daniel Trombley owned 7 RE/MAX offices, RE/MAX Insight and On the Move. He was slowly but surely stealing from escrow.
Stealing?
Yes, taking money.
You're not going to get me sued now, right?
No.
He really was stealing.
He really was
Okay.
stealing. He was paying car payments, college tuition payments. He was paying various things and loaning people money from that escrow account. And money from that escrow account was going to his husband's business. So all this has been documented. And now he was shut down. And supposedly he's not going to be penalized. He's not going to be brought up for charges. He's going to get away with it.
Wait a minute. And this is not only is the newspaper industry gone to crap, but the criminal justice industry has also gone to crap because people that commit these kinds of crimes, especially these white collar crimes, generally never go to jail. Like
Correct.
you have to rip off somebody who's powerful before they will make phone calls to make you go to jail. So what was their? First of all, how did he get away with taking the money in escrow and using it for things that were not related to the real estate business?
No checks and balances in regards to the accounts. So for years just doing this back and forth.
But isn't there like you were in New Hampshire, right?
Yes. It was Massachusetts and New Hampshire,
Okay.
his office.
So isn't there like checks and balances? If I go to work for a real estate company and I buy a house or sell a house and there's an escrow situation, aren't there government regulations to stop this from happening?
You would think that people would be watching, especially that there's a ton of money involved with this, but no one was watching until it was too late.
Wow. And so who did?
Well, my hair's sticking up. It looks funny. Well, it's like a halo, I guess.
Just pull it like up.
Just take the headphones off and put them back
Yeah,
on.
there you go.
It'll readjust.
There
There
you
you go.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Leave it
Sorry
to
about that.
intern girl to take care of the aesthetics.
Thank you.
Thank you, intern girl. So I guess what surprises me is like those of us who aren't in that business, those of us who aren't lawyers, we recently did a story about a lawyer that was stealing from his clients' accounts.
Right.
Kind of an escrow type situation. I forget what they call it. IOLTA account. It's like a customer account that you have to put it in a special bank account. So when I pay my lawyer, it goes into a special client account they can only use for certain things. And I've covered a couple of stories on lawyers that have done this, but there's such strict regulations that they get caught, and they usually don't get disbarred because the bar in Massachusetts, they're all corrupt, like extremely corrupt. But if they steal from a client, the client usually can recover some of that money. And yet, in your case, no, right?
No, he stole 10 closings from me. So in February and March, I had I had 7 closings. And then 3 later were closing later on. And I never got paid.
So, and your commission is what? What does a real estate broker get for a commission?
You can't say. It all depends on the brokerage and what's your agreement with your. But mine was about $82,000.
Wow. And that times how many?
There was probably about 20 of us.
Wow.
Yeah. Even my daughter, who just started out in real estate, it was her first closing that she did without mom, and he took that from her.
Wow. So how did you find out he was taking? Did he just like not pay you, and then you went, "Hey, wait a minute"?
Slowly but surely, he wasn't paying the realtors, and they would be asking for their pay, and he would pick and choose who needed it the most. And then all of a sudden, it just got ahead of him, robbing Peter to pay Paul. He couldn't handle it anymore. He couldn't pay. And
like every Ponzi scheme, eventually
correct,
you run
exactly.
out of victims.
He lived a very lucrative lifestyle. He bought a $1.6 million house in West Palm Beach right before this hit the fan. So he had it all set up. And
so he could just bail.
Correct. So now he's in West Palm in his $1.9 million house now.
Wow. So he still has that.
Oh, yeah. They haven't even touched him. And the Department of Justice in New Hampshire, I reached out to Khalees. Just the other day, I got an email back saying they can't comment because it's under investigation, and they don't know if they're going to bring charges up against him.
Can you sue civilly? Can you bring him into court and say, hey, look, here's the paperwork? Maybe they're not, like with the situation I'm dealing with the hood boogers in Lawrence, right? Like, I have no interest in putting them in jail through the criminal justice system, but I am bringing them to court. I am going to bring them to civil court and say, hey, they cost me $50,000 for legal fees. They've cost this. They've cost that. Is there any way, even though the criminal justice system doesn't seem like they're going to pursue this to a point where this guy's going to pay for anything, that you can at least recover some of the money?
DOJ's office, in that email I got, she said, remember, you guys can civilly sue him. But you know, I was out $82,000. My daughter was getting married that year. You know, a lot of us, you know, they think realtors, we make a lot of money, but we were struggling. And could we afford to hire an attorney? We were afraid of what that would cost. So then we were afraid of getting sued by RE/MAX because, you know, God forbid you don't want to speak ill, so we were afraid. And we were hoping that people would do the right thing. So for 2 years,
That's always my mistake.
I know.
I always say, like, you know what? Like, I've been dealing with a city council issue in Lawrence right now, and I'm like, you know, if I just give them enough time, they'll do the right thing, and then they never do. They never do. And
so for 2 years, we've been scared, and we've been stifled. And now we get that I sent you what they came down to for what he's going to pay. So he owes over $1 million, not only to realtors, but private loans, everything. And he's going to settle for $200,000 that he's going to pay over an increment of 20 years or something ridiculous.
Wow.
And again, it's not even the money anymore. I mean, I've gotten over that. I will never see that. But it's just a matter of how can he get away with this.
Right. So I do want to say that not all RE/MAX is
not at all.
I want to make sure that I don't want to damage the brand of RE/MAX because you had one person working for you that was a
correct.
dirtbag.
I love the red, white, and blue, and again, I would have I did live with them essentially, worked for them forever. But I think when we were in this need of help us, what's going on? We've been with you for 16 years. Can you do anything to help us? And it was basically read your contract. We have nothing to do with you and with Dan Trombley. And we were sort of left on our own.
Wow. So, like, how do you move forward from that? You're out $82,000. Is that total, or is it?
Yeah, that's total. That's it.
Okay. So it would probably cost you that just to sue him, right?
We don't know. That's the scary part. We don't know. Could someone take it pro bono? But again, people don't want to touch it. I think because it's the big red, white, and blue, and they're way more powerful than anybody is.
Right.
So no one wants to help
But you
us.
wouldn't be suing them. You'd be suing him, right?
Correct. I would only sue him. But people feel he's going to file for bankruptcy. They feel like it wouldn't be worth the effort eventually.
Wow. So it's just legalized theft at this point. Like people, and was to stop the next Dan Trombley
Well, that's
from
just
doing
it.
that to somebody else and stealing all of their money, and then he's taken off to West Palm.
Right. And it's not even, so now it's not a matter for me of the money that was taken or what, or his getting away with it. It's the whole system. You have all this money, tons of money for real estate, and there's no checks and balances. So I just want to see, when I read up an offer for my clients and there's a deposit, is that deposit protected?
Right.
You know, I have to explain to my clients, geez, you know, you're giving this $80,000 deposit. In my head, in my heart, I'm like, I can't guarantee that they will get that back because we don't know what's happening on the other end.
So now you live in what town? What community do you live in New Hampshire?
I live in Danville, New Hampshire.
Okay, but your office was in Salem?
Yeah, Salem. I'm from
Okay, so
Salem.
Dennis Mannion is a state rep in Salem. He's a friend of mine. We went to school together.
Right.
You should contact his office and talk to them about maybe drafting some legislation in New Hampshire so that you can protect that money when it comes in. Like there's got to be some kind of government, you know, in a society today where government regulation, the government regulates like how many plants you can have in front of your freaking house.
I know.
Right? Like you can't dig in your backyard. You can't put a porch on unless you get government approval. And there's all these government regulations for everything, including like, you know, the size of like your door.
Right.
That there's no regulation on all this money.
The broker has a $25,000 bond. Think about what's in escrow. $25,000.
Yeah, millions of dollars in escrow and
Right.
you $25,000.
So that's the 20, and we pay E&O every month. With Dan Trombley, I was paying E&O insurance. You know, he defaulted on paying that for over a year.
my goodness.
So we weren't even insured, and we didn't even know
Wow.
And he just got away with all of this.
If you want me to make the introduction, I will send this video and the story that you sent me, and I will actually make the call to Dennis. Wow, because I'm in Massachusetts. Is it a little different? Is there some regulation in Mass? Because it seems like the Democrats love to overregulate everything, and it would shock me if in Mass.
No, it happened in Mass. It's the same thing, and now another big company in Mass it happened to. So no, it's just as bad.
Wow. So what's the other company? What was the other story?
I don't even know. I just know that it was a real estate company, and he ended up defaulting. Same thing, wasn't paying his realtors, and it was pretty bad, just like we were.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so how do you get? You depended on that money. You put all that work in. You had no money coming in. How did you survive? How did you pay your bills? What was that like?
I think the biggest thing for me, and people are still now, they're like, how do you not be so angry? How do you not hate? You know, and I just say, you know, you have to put it in its place. It's a lesson. And you just have to move on, and it's actually made me stronger. And it's just something that I just grow from. And financially it was tough. Again, my daughter was getting married at the Mount Washington Omni for 200 people. That was my wedding money.
Wow.
So we just made it. My husband and I made it happen.
Wow. I am so sorry you went through that, and I wish that there was some kind of a lawyer that could take your case. And I would imagine that there would have to be damages. Like when you sue for something like that, it's not just to recover what you lost, but also the damage, like, you know, pain and suffering. Pain and suffering. I mean, you had this money set aside for your daughter's wedding, and that, I'm sure, severely impacted what the wedding was going to, what you were going to do with the wedding, with what you actually did do with the wedding.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a matter of just having to move on and having to switch brokerages, having to change my whole life. I was with them for 16 years, you know. So it was, my whole life was upside down. Do I trust? Am I nervous about things? It's just like, it just changes everything.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there was other fees, like, you know, business cards, you know, just other fees that went along with the whole change as well.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, why isn't he being prosecuted he's being let go. He did nothing wrong, it seems, according to them. But I really feel like a lot of people up in Concord, dropped the ball. I reached out for the hotline, and no one seemed to care. No one answered the hotline. So I think a lot of people dropped the ball.
Right. And what I'm just trying to do is I'm trying to think we can't fix what happened, I don't think. But for the next person, like
Right.
I'm worried about the next guy or the next woman who's out there working their ass off, trying to sell real estate, and the guy that is entrusted to take care of their escrow accounts is stealing their money too, because I'm sure this guy is not the only guy out there.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of people out there that wish they could do it, that might do it later on. There's got to be some kind of way to regulate this.
There needs to be better checks and balances,
Right.
but I don't know if it's up in Concord. I don't know if it's from the state level. I don't know. They're so overwhelmed right now with everything. I don't know how checks and balances can happen.
If you were in charge,
Right.
let's say you run for state rep tomorrow, you become a state rep, and the insurance commissioner comes to you, real estate commissioner comes to you and says, what do you think we should do? Like, how would you fix this now that you went through it, so if anybody would know, it would be you. How would you fix this problem for the future?
I don't think they see the magnitude of money and how much it affects people. So the Office of Professional Licensing in New Hampshire deals with real estate, they deal with gyms, they deal with any licensing that you do, hair cutting. So they are so inundated and so overwhelmed and so large. I think a separate committee needs to be formed just for real estate. I think they can't group it with all those others just because of the risk to the public and just the amount of money that's out there.
Right.
They're just dropping the ball.
And then that committee would be in charge of what? Increase the bond amount and...
I think bond amount should be increased, and I also feel that the books should be checked, I think 4 times a year, quarterly.
Okay.
So every real estate office, they need to check their books.
And how about allowing the real estate agents access to the accounts? Not so much to withdraw it, but access to the information of what's in the account, so that, you sell 3 homes and the money's in escrow and you pull it up on your computer, there's no money in the account, you're going to know before anybody, right?
Right. I think even with the E&O, we were saying, how do we know we're giving him money every month for the E&O, assuming he's paying our E&O?
What's E&O?
Errors and omissions insurance.
Okay.
And so we're giving him that money. It's coming out of our check.
Right.
And it wasn't gotten paid.
Wow.
So we just need to say, okay, if this is the money we're giving, is it going towards what we're telling you it's giving? Wow. And is my client's money, that this deposit that they're giving, is it protected?
Right.
Will they be able to close on their home? Will they be able to close on their house?
Wow. And a realist, if he could do this to you, he could do it to the clients.
Well, that's just what happens. It's not about the greedy realtors who didn't get paid. I get that. No one cares about that. That's
Right.
why no one wants to write a story. Who cares, you guys?
We do.
I know. Who cares about us? But it's more the consumer, and is the consumer protected?
Right.
That's the bottom line. It's not so much about the realtors. It's about the consumer. So that's where things need to be checks and balances, and people need to be held accountable.
Intern Go, you got any questions for our friend Andrea here?
Is there anything that the banks can kind of do to
Oh, good
support?
question.
No, I mean, it took a while.
She laughed like they're worse.
Well, it took a while for the banks, for the Office of Professional Licensing, for the receivership that took over all 7 RE/MAX offices to get the books. So the bank didn't want to release it. So I don't even think they would know the extent of what happens.
Okay.
How about the IRS? They got Al Capone not for killing people. They got him for not paying taxes. So if he's stealing all this money,
Right.
he's probably not paying taxes on it. You might want to have a conversation with the IRS. And by the way, I have a friend at the IRS that I could probably pass along that could help you with that too.
Yeah, that was never brought up in regards to when you read all about him and what money that was going here, there, and everywhere from escrow. It never mentioned about the IRS.
Yeah, the taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got someone at the IRS that I'm dealing with right now on something else, someone I'm reporting right now. And, of course, they're in Massachusetts. You might have to go to a New Hampshire IRS office. But it might be something worth pursuing because, like I said, they didn't get Al Capone for all the people that he killed. but they got him for not paying his taxes, and he did the time, right? Like, that's the worst. The worst thing in the, you can steal from anybody you want, but if you steal from the government, they're going to get you.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to get you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your just letting me do this because no one, again, seemed to care because, again, who cares about realtors not
How many other
paid?
people did he do this to?
Oh, God. In Massachusetts, he did it to maybe like 7 or 8. But the broker on record from Mass, he's such a nice guy, he's a friend of mine. He wasn't aware of all this was going on. He took money out of his personal loan to pay all those realtors.
Oh, wow. Just
So-
not you.
I was New Hampshire.
Oh, right.
So he's a class act guy. He paid off all those realtors. So the Mass realtors got their money.
Right.
But New Hampshire.
But that guy still, they didn't get their money from him. They got it from some other guy that took it out of his pocket.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's it. It's just not so much about me not getting paid. It's just protection for the consumer.
Right. And so maybe there's a class action suit if you've got the other people from New Hampshire. How many New Hampshire people did he do this to?
I want to say there's about 20 of us.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of
But
people.
again,
So
no one
80,000
wants-
times 20 is 800. It's $1.6 million. 160.
Isn't it 8 million?
80 times 10 is 800,000. $1.6 million, right?
They won't. They're afraid.
Wow.
They won't.
Well, you know what? Once we start writing stories about it, maybe they won't be. Maybe this will inspire some people to come forward and do something. There's got to be somebody willing to do something about this. You know, with like I said, what blows my mind is with all the regulations that government puts on everything.
Exactly.
There's no regulation on this. Like this is something that you would think protecting somebody's money. That's what you would think that they would regulate, rather than like the door size at your house.
Right. I mean, that woman from Next Gen just got brought up on charges. It's in the paper. It was in the paper yesterday. I think $484,000 she ended up. She got charged. She's going to jail.
Oh, good.
But he didn't, and he's over $1 million.
Wow.
So it just
Well, he
seems
probably
like-
knows somebody and she probably doesn't, and that's really unfortunately how it works.
Right.
She just knows how to move around.
Right.
You know, the whole system.
And you know, Intergo brings up such a great point too with the banks. You would think that we could put some kind of a law in Massachusetts and New Hampshire
On
that the
insurance.
banks would have more control to not give somebody access to take that money out for like their own stuff. That,
Right.
Like once it went in, it would have to go to the person. Like it's kind of like when you have a power of attorney, right? Mm-hmm. And so you give me power of attorney. I open a bank account, put your name and my name on it. But you're the only person that can withdraw the money.
Right.
Right? And so there's got to be a simpler way. Like, I'm not a genius. I'm not an expert at any of this stuff. But it just seems from a common sense perspective that there's got to be a way that you can protect people's money without having, like, an act of Congress. Like, without having, 3 years of hearings and changing the whole structure of government. There's got to be an easier way.
No, I get you. Like someone at the bank who sees that escrow account and they see it's going towards a college payment or a car
Yeah.
payment
Right. And you're
or
like,
his
wait a minute.
husband's business.
Right. And with AI today, you don't need an actual person to do that.
Right.
You could actually set up an AI program so that the money can only go to certain things. Like the money can only, and if it doesn't, like it sets off all kinds of red flags. That way you can monitor 1 million accounts all at once. You don't need a physical person to sit there and do it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I didn't even think
All right,
of
we're going to
that.
get you and Mannion together. I think this is something.
Okay.
I think this is something that we can maybe might not be able to fix your situation, but for people
That's
in the
okay.
future.
My situation is, I'm at peace with
Okay,
my
all
82,000
I
going
wouldn't
in.
be.
And you were
I would be
believe
in
it.
Florida right now looking for this guy.
That's what my husband said.
I would be too. I would be too. And you were in the Valley Patriot. You were telling me when you came in, you were in the Valley Patriot at one point.
Yeah, I think it was 1992. Brian and I were getting married, and Brian was playing golf. He was a Salem Blue Devil, and you were there. I think took a picture of him golfing with the boys, and just mentioned about our getting married.
Oh wow,
That
no
was
kidding.
like his little bachelor thing.
Wow.
Yeah, 1992.
92?
Crazy. It would have been Rumbo. I was with Rumbo back
Oh, you
then.
were with Rumbo.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
with
okay,
Rumbo.
okay.
But that's okay. Like it was still, I still did the story.
Yeah,
I
you did the
think.
story.
Right.
Yeah. Nice.
Because I think I called you hot, right?
No, you said no. It was really. It wasn't that nice. I mean, it was.
Wasn't that
no,
nice?
I mean, it wasn't that great. It was like the sweet or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay,
cute
okay.
or sweet.
Yeah.
She looks
Adorable.
Adorable.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I'm a sweet guy. All right. Is there anything else you want to add to this?
No, I just again, I think it's important that yes, Remax is wonderful. I worked with them for 16 years, so it has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with Dan Trombley.
Yeah, because every organization has people that are scummy that work for them.
Right.
You know, like there are bad cops, there are bad doctors, there are bad podcast hosts. You're probably watching one right now. There are bad newspaper publishers, but it's not a reflection on that company. It's not you're always going to have that. Did Remax at any point try to reach out to you and try to make things better? Did Remax, like the parent company, come to you and go, "We're really sorry this happened. Can we do something to help?"
Is there insurance?
We begged them, and we reached out to 2 bigwigs, and they had a meeting with us. We were at the Atkinson Library. There was 4 agents who lost money. And they said, "We are so very sorry, but unfortunately, if you read your contract, we have nothing to do with this or with Dan or with your broker."
Yeah, but you would think just being human beings.
Yeah, no.
Just being human beings. Like the guy in Massachusetts, you would think being human beings, they would do something to help.
Yeah, no, it's all about the contract, and they were covered. And that's why we can't go after them because,
Right.
you know, that's my contract.
Wow.
Even though they hired a nincompoop to run 7 offices.
She's being so kind. Because certainly I would be calling them a lot worse than that. I was thinking,
She's so calm and peaceful about it. I would have been like, "Oh my God."
I'd be hunting him down.
Anger is a bad thing.
It is. I agree. But 85.
Well, there is something to be said, and I'm dealing, as you saw at the beginning of the show, I'm dealing with the people that are stalking me. There is something to be said for laughing it off and having fun with it, because they do it to me to purposely make me mad.
Right.
Like he texts me every day going, "You mad, bro? You mad?" I'm laughing.
You can't give him your energy. Like when you give him that's what they want. So you have to put it into other things, like your kids. You raise money for the kids, and don't give them the satisfaction of your health or anything. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and I think that it takes away from when you laugh something off like that, it takes away from the negativity in your life. Like when you can have a positive attitude. I have people screw me all the time because I'm in the political business, I'm in the newspaper business,
right.
And there were always people trying to set me up. There's always people feeding me false information, so they can later on go, "Oh, look, he lied about this. He's got no credibility. So don't listen to him when he writes about me." You know, there's always that going on. But when you laugh it off and you just go out there and say, "You're right, I screwed up," or "You're right, somebody gave me the wrong information," and then you just move on. It takes that bite away from the negativity, the hatred, the evil that's out there. You know?
Yeah, it's not worth.
Although if I lost 82,000, I'd be down at West Palm trying to find him.
Yeah.
Quite frankly,
that's a lot of money
isn't Florida an open carry state? I think they are.
I think they are.
Don't tell my husband.
I'd be down there. I would be down there.
I mean, where he lives at $1.6 million.
Yeah, well, now it's on Zillow. It's 1.9.
Right.
1.9. Yeah.
There's got to
be really hard to get in there.
It's increased in value.
There's got to be a statue somewhere in that house worth at least $82,000 that you can go in and you can recover.
His pool house, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But thank you so much for letting me be here.
Well, listen, thank you for coming in. You know, I only do a show once a week, and I have a lot of people trying to get on to be guests to talk about their thing. But there's only so many weeks in a year, and I cover a lot of politics and a lot of news, and so I don't always have the opportunity to have people in. But I get so many stories like yours come across my desk literally every week. Whether it's real estate people, whether it's lawyers, whether it's people that run a lady that runs a daycare center that was just like rooked out of like $100,000. And I get this all the time, but again, I'm only one guy. I only have once a show. My paper comes out once a month. My podcast is once a week, and I can only do so much. But when I see something that I think can be like a teachable moment for everybody, that's simple enough that we don't have to go through all the details and the mechanizations of the story, like yours, I think it's important to have someone like you on, because after this show is over, and this is going to be up like forever, right? Actually, no, I think, because this will be up forever on YouTube at least. But a year from now, someone's going to find this.
Right.
They're going to look at it and they're going to, "Oh my God, that happened to me."
Right.
And maybe they'll learn something from it. Maybe they'll be able to get something from what you telling your story. So.
Yeah, there's always something worse, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, listen, I
know.
Read the Valley Patriot. Just read about all the corruption going on in Salisbury. People think Lawrence is bad. The corruption in Lawrence isn't 1/10 of what goes on in Salisbury. Like, Methuen is worse than Lawrence. Haverhill is far worse than Lawrence and Methuen. But Salisbury's got them all beat. Like, that's like the hub of political corruption. And
I don't know. I'm in the live free or die state. So.
You know, I've given a lot of thought to moving to New Hampshire. I really want to move to New Hampshire.
Well, aren't you getting a house pretty soon?
I don't know that I'm going to be moving in though. Like, I don't want to be moving. I don't know. I'm going to take the house, but I don't know that I'm going to move in there. But I've given a lot of thought to moving to New Hampshire, especially like maybe a little further up than Salem, maybe like the Derry, Wyndham. My brother lived in Pelham for a while. I love the area. I love the woods. I love
I would love to live in Atkinson.
Yeah, our summer place is in Wyndham.
Something coming on.
Yeah,
I'll call you.
So, well, anyways,
I can afford it. I can afford it.
We digress. I brought a newspaper for you in case you wanted one.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you coming on. And is there anything else you want to like leave us with before we end the show? No,
I just want to thank you. Just keep saying with your heart and living with your heart, and keep your heart going.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's adorable.
All right, you can roll up, Mel, and we'll thank our sponsors again. And I think we kept to an hour today, right? Almost, right?
Yeah,
Look at
we're
that.
an hour and 36 seconds.
Nice.
So.
All right, I want to thank Century 21. Oh, she's actually like running out the door. Century 21 McLennan Real Estate, the Zanny Pesh Law Office. For some reason, I don't know.
You look better with red.
You know what's funny? This shirt looks so wrinkled that it's not. I actually ironed it this morning.
Oh, my pants are super wrinkled.
For some reason, it's the lines on the. All right. Anyways, Morrison and Son Construction, EIS Investigation and Gun Training, Tomo and Shaken Seafood, JG's Ice Cream, Clear Path for Veterans New England, AFC Urgent Care, Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors, Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office, Chris's Barbershop. Got to get my hair cut again at Chris's Barbershop. Enterprise Bank, W3ON, 4-Star Lighting, and Stadium Chiropractic. Actually, Stadium Chiropractic is a free shout-out to them. They advertise in the paper.
Okay.
But we want to give him a free shout-out because I love Dr. Romano. He's a good guy. And he's been with us forever. And it sounds like Reverend Taylor says you got to go home. Did he say that? Is that what he said? Wait. He did, so go home already.